20 years on the New Jersey police force hardens you. You think you've seen it all until you haven't. The call that still haunts my dreams came on a Tuesday in October, the kind of day where the clouds hang so low and dark that 2 p.m. feels like dusk. The dispatch crackled through my radio, breaking the hypnotic rhythm of windshield wipers fighting a losing battle against the rain. A school lockdown. Suspicious male, white van. My stomach dropped before dispatch even finished. Something in the static-filled pause told me this wasn't going to be another false alarm. The middle school loomed ahead through the rain like a fortress of brick and steel. I'll never name it. Some stories are better left unattached to real places. The white van sat behind the building, water streaming down its windowless sides. Empty. I radioed in the situation but failed to note the plates. That oversight would torment me for weeks to come. The back door by the boys' locker room was painted the color of dried blood. It opened with a sound like a dying breath, revealing a hallway plunged into darkness. The emergency lights cast sickly pools of yellow every 30 feet, barely piercing the gloom. My flashlight beam seemed to get swallowed by the shadows. In the front office, I found a secretary whose whispered warning made my blood run cold. He might be armed. Check the boys' locker room. Her face was ash white, hands trembling as she pointed back the way I'd come. Backup was supposedly en route, but in that moment I'd never felt more alone. The locker room door weighed 1,000 pounds as I eased it open. The darkness inside was absolute, broken only by my flashlight beam dancing across metal doors that seemed to stretch into infinity. The ventilation system wheezed overhead, almost, but not quite, masking other sounds. Tiny metallic sounds, scratching, tapping. Was that breathing? Protocol demanded I announce myself. Training required it. But primal instinct sealed my lips shut. 20 years of experience meant nothing in that tomb of metal and shadows. My flashlight beam trembled across the lockers, catching glints of metal that looked like watching eyes. The sounds always came from just beyond where my light could reach. I backed myself into a corner, trying to get some sense of control. The bathroom door behind me felt cool against my back, grounding me in reality. That's when the slam came. A gunshot of metal on metal that sent my heart into my throat. It echoed from the football team's locker room, where the oversized lockers hulked in the darkness like steel sarcophagi. Police! The word finally tore from my throat, shattering the silence. The response chilled me to my core. A muffled scream, young and terrified, followed by desperate pounding from inside one of those metal prisons. I found him trapped inside, but the sick feeling in my gut told me I needed to check outside first. The van was gone, vanished into the rain like a ghost, taking with it any chance of an easy resolution. I called it in, knowing how hollow "be on the lookout for a white van" would sound over the radio. Inside, the boy's story spilled out between sobs, the knife, the struggle, the bleeding arm that proved this nightmare was real. They caught him a week later at a 7-Eleven, but that's not the part that haunts me. It's the what-ifs that keep me up at night. What if I'd gotten the plates? What if I'd been a minute later? What if I'd followed procedure and announced myself right away? But mostly, I wonder about the other schools, the other vans, the other times he might have succeeded where he failed that day. Sometimes on rainy days, I drive past that school. The red door's been painted blue now, but I still see it in that other color. And sometimes, just for a moment, I swear I see a white van in my rearview mirror, following just a little too close through the rain.